So basically, every crash or every such incident, and more so if it is fatal, is very tragic and very unfortunate. Not only for the Indian Air Force or the concerned families, but for whole of the nation. We take, and as a nation, as an Air Force, we put in a lot of efforts to create the pilots for such aircraft, and which is really a grave loss. Having said that, the kind of aviation which fighter flying demands and the kind of maneuvers which are there, we all understand that uh, you know uh, an accident like this is part of our training, part of our life, and part of the way we live. But coming to two platforms you talked about, both have their different problems. One is Russian origin, and one is UK origin, or what we call Western origin. And they have different problems, different fatigue factors, and different things in place. We are, I think, focusing on the accident which recently happened. This aircraft was on a training mission, as we learned from the media, and both the pilots sustained fatal injuries. Now, when we analyze such a thing, we of course go into technical errors which might happen, which includes maintenance errors or obsolescence errors, which I think as a nation, each one of us is worried about. That this was a very, very old aircraft, and probably being old is what contributed to this. But let me assure uh, our audience through you that when an aircraft is certified flying fit, it is certified on all the parameters, critical parameters, and otherwise parameters which are required for that particular sortie. So, in that sense, the aircraft, if it is flown and it was flyworthy, it would have been fully functional. Of course, we will come to know about it as a court inquiry now has been ordered as to what happened, what LRU or what components, including engines, which actually caused this in case it was a technical error. They can be a profile management issue where it happens because all these fighter aircrafts and more so on training mission, they take on a lot of dangerous profiles because that is what fighter flying is all about. So that is bracketed under pilot error, or sometimes there's a material fatigue which you can link to obsolescence, or 45 years of this aircraft which has been in service. Probably it can be linked to that. So at the moment, I would say the court inquiry has been ordered, and we'll await the you know kind of conclusions will come by and be done very thoroughly. Let me assure again through your channel, and that court inquiry will bring out all factors, and that's how, and that's when we'll know. And as we know, one more thing is there. Every time there's an accident, we learn something and we implement that into our system, maintenance system, SOPs, standard operating procedures, protocols, and all other procedures which go into making aviation safe. So I'm pretty sure this will happen. As far as the age of the aircraft is concerned, it's a matter of concern. It's a fleet which is going out, and we as an Air Force or as a nation are concerned about it. But let me tell you, none of the air forces in the world, including United States of American Air Force, they also have aircraft like B-2 Stratosphere, like KC-135, which are more than 70 years old. So as an Air Force, you ought to manage that as part of the overall management, because retiring whole of the fleet is a very costly business, and it has to be done with caution and care, taking what kind of strength we have as of now on our inventory. See, we have on at each station, in this case Suratgarh, we have one search and rescue flight where helicopters will go out and search for wherever the wreckage is, and they'll provide immediate help. The station is well geared up to reach out to the families and give the emotional, physical, and other kinds of help, including air officer commanding of the base would go and meet up with the families. Pilot fraternity is a very tightly knit fraternity, and they also move out and reach out to the families to help them. We have Air Force Vice Welfare Association, which actually gets into nitty gritty of these things, and we ensure that all support and financial support, physical support, otherwise support is done to the families. And of course, these officers, brave officers, who I guess both of them have sustained two fatal injuries now, as it comes out in the newspaper, they'll be, given goodbye with full military honors. So the whole system is in place, and we get activated emotionally, and we all are charged emotionally, but they'll be calm and quiet response to it, and we see to it that families are taken care of in a long term basis, not on a short term basis. It will not be something like a news which comes for a day or two. It will be absolutely on a long term basis, and that will be done. See, maintenance of obsolescent aircraft like Jaguar, it came in service in 1980s or something, and it is now for, you can say, 45 years plus, is always a very challenging task. The common factors which you can think of, that we do a lot of cannibalization of the parts to keep the rest of the aircraft serviceable. Of all, let's say 121 aircraft which are on strength, some 89 or 79 aircraft will be serviceable. There'll be some parts will be cannibalized because supply lines get dried up. Of course, we have a process through which we take lifetime buy from the OEMs before they close out. They always give us information. That information comes to Indian Air Force, and we do get into lifetime buy kind of concept. But there may be certain parts or certain structures which are were not thought of, and we need that, so we cannibalize that. So obsolescence is one of the factors, and one more factor is there. If you take statistical probability, when the parts are aging, the sum total probability of their functioning together, it always takes a beating. So it may show up good during maintenance, but during stress flying, or when you are flying as per the SOP, there may be some factors which can cause this. In this quota inquiry, we'll look at it, and we'll get into all these details and find out as to what exactly happened, whether it was a material failure, it was a profile management failure, or it was maintenance failure. So that will be looked into. So I'm pretty sure that as that happens, the whole thing will come in play. Of course, you face the problem of maintenance because of supply chains going, kind of dry, and you manage within the whatever aircraft you have. With the help of that, you manage rest of the aircraft. So that's called the obsolescence phase. In this phase, you retire certain aircraft, you make use of the spares which are available in the aircraft, mounted on the aircraft, and manage the rest of the fleet. And this goes on, and as we find that aircraft is less and less, it normally, what happens, there's a downward trend, and less number of aircraft remain available. Probably in Jaguar fleet, there are about 70 plus 79 or something aircraft available for operational flying. That's what is my estimate. I'm not in the official dispensation, but that, having said that, it will be, the maintenance staff is even more keen or even more intense in doing the maintenance because they know this part, and this gives us a gradual induction time, plus while we maintain the force level of the Indian Air Force. So it's a given necessary situation, but there are problems of supply chain management. There may be problems of special tools, test equipment not being available, but I don't think this case it was the reason. That then we do reverse engineering. We make it indigenous at this, within the country. That's why you hear so much of emphasis on Atmanirbharta, what you're talking about. Why we are emphasizing our own LCA Mark 1, Mark 2, or our own AMCA, Advanced Medium Combat Aircraft. Because if we manufacture ourselves, we'll never run short of, as long as we're flying the aircraft, of the supply chain issues. That is a very important reason for us to geolocate all our manufacturing for threshold technology weapon systems within the country. And that's happening now. I think that would be a strategic initiative to get over the issues which we have. Yes, there are difficulties, but Indian Air Force has been, seized with this difficulty, seized with the issue, and they have been managing it well. Just for the sake of record, we are one of the safest flying air forces of the world. You have seen F-35 going down. It was recently in the media. So it happens. The fighter flying is one of those domains where it happens.